No sound. No sound still. Let me. No sound. Oh, there we go. No Welcome, bow betters. No sound. Oh, there we go. All right, awesome. Well, like I was saying, I wasn't gonna try to make this short and sweet. The goal today was trying not to spend a lot of money, which unfortunately didn't happen. I did some groceries, bought a few items for my bed. Still bought this 6-pack of this Maplewood Son of Juice. It's a really nice, soft, hazy IPA from Maplewood Brewery here in Chicago. I thought that they went under, but it wasn't as expensive as some of the other. This 4-pack was only $10.99, so I was trying to go on a little bit of a cheaper side. And the goal with the cigar, and hopefully this is, I told you guys that I love Sumatran and, some of the tobacco from like Indonesia, Sumatra. So this is a Sumatran, and the goal was to find a cigar that was $5 or under. And this one was at $5.45. So I got close to it. It's a Rocky Patel Sumatran. Should be pretty good. I'm anxious to try it, give it a whirl. The Son of Juice was pretty darn good. The watch check, got the new watch today. One of the new watches today. This is a Sugus chronograph. I put it on this orange silicone band that was like around $20. The Sugus came with 2 other bands. It came with this black leather faux crocodile looking band that I really didn't like. It also came with a steel mesh Mariner type of band, which wasn't bad. I got it from AliExpress for around $200, so I saved $70 getting it through AliExpress, and I really got it because of its, I wanted another white face watch, and the back of this thing here. Let me show you the back. Besides the other thing that I really was looking forward to this thing that was somewhat disappointing is I got it because the lumination, or the lume, as you can see on the numerals, has that sort of enamel. It's a raised enamel, and the lume on this is nice when it's charged up. When you put it into light and then you get it charged up, it is pretty good, but it's not so great at work. And I was hoping to use this at work with the numerals. As you can see, they're raised up. But what's most attractive about this watch, in my opinion, is the back. I mean, this is a Chinese movement here. There is the stainless steel SG114. I don't know. What is that, 316 steel? I was wondering what steel it was. I'm surprised they have it there. All right, so is that 316? Is that what it is? Is 316 stainless steel? I have to figure that out. But as you could see, the movement on the skeletal back, that's a pretty watch. The back is actually prettier than the front. And this movement here is used in quite a lot of fake watches. Some, that when you're trying to imitate some expensive watches, they use this movement in an effort to con people. So this is a Chinese aviator watch. The stainless steel. It's not a sapphire crystal, so it could scratch easily. It's a little domed. It's got a little bevel there, which isn't great. But I put it again on this strap. I have been using it at work. Don't mind it. $200. Again, it's just like how you want to live. I just like having something pretty and pretty cool on my wrist, even at work. And so I got this thing for myself for Christmas. So that was my Christmas gift to myself. All right, guys. No one's in the chat yet. That's okay. Maybe pounce out the chat here. Whoa. Actually. What's up, everyone? All right. What's everyone been doing? What are some of your picks? I haven't seen G the Mattress Guy in the chat in a long time. I haven't seen anybody participating in the comment section. Oh shit! God damn it! What the hell? What the fuck fell off? All right. Okay, that wasn't important. That was not important. I'm still on. Yeah, it's because it's in this casing. Oh, okay. Let's see if that helps. The watch back on. God, I look fat. I think I'm gonna start working out again. It's getting a little. I'm getting a little too portly. I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel old, look old. I do have the energy. My knees feel a little bit better. It's not like I'm going to be, running very far, boxing or doing anything crazy. But get back out there. I might be going on a little surf trip at the end of this month. Just do some exercise, a little more swimming. Going to Cabo and getting in the sun and getting a little, just hiking, doing something will help as well. So, ooh, not bad. It doesn't have a lot of sheen to it. It has a lot of veins, so the leaf doesn't look as uniform as I would like it to. It's this Rocky Patel. Is there anything in there? Beware of imitations. Original edge. Rocky Patel. That's on the inside there, guys. And this is again the Rocky Patel Sumatran. I like when they write something on the inside there. It's pretty cool. I'll snip it. I'm gonna snip a little more. Little chocolate there. Strong earth tones, not a lot of pepper at all, which is good. It's not super spicy. Normally the Sumatran does have a little bit more of a pepperiness to it. This one does not. So guys, what are you guys doing this weekend? What are some of your plays? Some of these lines for the parlays are really tough. Jalton Almeida at minus 1,115, really tough. Worley Alvarez minus 127. The two fights I'm really looking forward to are the Bonfim fights. Ishmael Bonfim with Terrence McKinney. That's going to be a war. I don't know why Terrence McKinney's out there talking smack about Paddy Pimblett when he's got a monster in his hands with these Bonfim brothers. This could be a coming out party for them. A lot of the Brazilians are heavily favored, and I wonder how well they're going to take this card. The Bonfim brothers a minus 182 favorite over Monir Lezez, and Lezez is a beast. Thiago Moses moved up to minus 375 because Melskiel Costa is coming in on late notice. Gregory Rodriguez is minus 335 against Bruno Vieira. Man, that's just insane, these lines. Gilbert Burns, a minus 455 favorite against Neil Magny, and I think that's because everybody knows that Magny's weakness is his, he has been submitted before, his grappling, which he has improved upon a ton, including his wrestling. I might actually jump on Magny at plus 335. I think that Gilbert Burns is definitely the most overvalued fighter on this card, more so than Thiago Moses, more than Gregory Rodriguez, more so than even Cody Stamann. Cody Stamann's a big favorite as well. Josanne Nunez, another big favorite that I was going to jump on her a while ago. Her line just went crazy. Minus 560. It's dog or pass on that for sure. Don't even go there. Man, and I talked before, we mentioned before, I'm like, the UFC not doing their greats a favor. I mean, like, putting Ihor Porteria against Shogun Rua is just disrespectful. They gave him a monster. So that's going to be a tough out for him. Another fight that I'm very interested in is Paul Craig against Johnny Walker. I'm leaning on the Paul Craig side there just because Paul Craig can take a punch. He's super tough. And if this gets to the ground, I think Johnny Walker is going to be a fish out of water, and I think he can get that sub if he's able to get top position or get into a favorable grappling fight here. Another fight where I was going to parlay Jessica Andrade, but it looks like everybody else and their mother parlay Jessica Andrade. So she's up to minus 500. I think she's going to win that fight easily. Is it bet your house at minus 500 money? No, not at all. Lauren Murphy is a tough woman. Although I was looking at the Andrade finish line, which was still just around like plus 100, was something that I was thinking as a possible. The two championship fights, they're both come down quite a bit, or have been a lot of movement, but not a ton of space in that movement. Brandon Moreno and Devson Figueiredo. Devson Figueiredo is still like close to an even money match, with Moreno being a slight favorite by 10 points at minus 117. And Glover has come down. He was a bigger underdog. I saw him as high as like plus 160, even a plus 200 at one point when he opened up, and now it's just up to be plus 105. So that's another fight that I'm looking really at those particular fights. I'm looking at the Glover, Jamal Hill fight, Figueiredo Moreno fight, Paul Craig, Johnny Walker fight. Neil Magny is going to be my dog. If I'm going to grab one of these big priced or big heavy underdogs, that I think has the best chance of winning out of all those underdogs, in my opinion, it's Neil Magny. I'm going to also look at the both Bonfim fights, the McKinney finish line, or that fight not to go the distance. I think those two guys are just going to, one of them's going to go down, one of them's going to finish the other. And I think that's the same thing with the, you see the Gabriel Bonfim minus 182 against Munir Lazez. That's a really, really tough outing for them. So those are the main fights that I'm going to look at from a betting perspective. And right away, Neil Magny is going to be my dog attempt on this card. I know it's tough, him and Paul Craig. And that's just because I'm not impressed with Gilbert Burns' wrestling, right? He just hasn't developed that game. He's been working on his hands. He's a jiu-jitsu guy has fallen in love with his hands. And Magny's going to have developed his wrestling, has good takedown defense. He'll have a huge, reach and kicking advantage. He probably won't kick that much because he's going to want to avoid and keep Gilbert Burns at bay. But I just think Gilbert Burns is the most overpriced fighter on this particular card right here. Yeah, it's always very earthy, strong, robust aromas. I don't even know if I'm still alive. I don't see anybody in the chat. Nothing busted up. Yeah, Rodriguez. I was going to jump on Rodriguez too, but man, he's just so overpriced right now. And in that division, everybody's sort of a monster. Gregor Rodriguez at that price is just a tough pick here. And I think even for parlays, you're looking at some big numbers to try to hook up, where I just think you should just look at some of these, pick a fighter in one of the better odd, closer, smaller odd lines like the Bonfim fights. Those are seem to be fair, or find, one of these dogs, rather put everything into Paul Craig and or Neil Magny just as dogs and leave it at that. Just bet those two fights, maybe some other probable outcomes in some of these other bouts. Not bad. Really strong cedar, strong wood. I don't have a lot of hint of pepperiness or a sweet note yet. Yeah, jumping to the main event. Just starting off with that. I think the not to go the distance. It's look, they know it's minus 530 not to go the distance right away, and their pepperiness is there in the cigar right away. The first thing I'm thinking about in this fight is not to go the distance, and that means either guy is going to finish the other. Where Glover is by finish is the way to go. Actually, just on the money line is the way to go with him because his finish line is only plus 153, right? Or plus 163, I'm sorry. And Jamal Hill's TKO line is plus 108. So I think either guy just on the money line. And something like maybe the over 1.5 at minus 127. But that's even tough because Jamal Hill is a fast starter. Glover's going to have to withstand the early onslaught, that early power, that early speed. And, he's just as big as Jamal Hill, right? He's a big guy. He might have a little bit more girth to him, but Jamal Hill is so fast. And Jamal Hill has a legitimate one punch power where Glover doesn't. Glover is a volume guy. He could finish you, but he's going to finish you with volume. I was commenting to the guys that fight where he had with Jiri. He had a great striking fight with Jiri, right? Let me look at some of the stats on that. Yeah, Jiri had 120 strikes to Glover's 111. Glover had 5 takedowns in that fight, right? So if he could do that to Jamal Hill, and that's why everyone's jumping, or that line closed and people jumped on the Glover Teixeira side because of that wrestling. He has good more of a judo toss and a hip toss. He was 5 of 17 takedown attempts, right? He could do the same. He threw a total of 161 strikes. He actually had a better significant strike percentage at 68. The total strikes, Glover actually outstruck Jiri 159 to 157. So that was a really, really close fight. Glover even had control time. If that would have went to a decision, it could have gone either way. Glover could have stolen it because he had nine or almost 10 minutes of control time. So if it went the distance and it went to the cards, who knows what would have been said there. But that performance was Glover Teixeira's best performance, even though he lost. I mean, to stand in there with Jiri, to stun Jiri, almost finish Jiri, take him down. Welcome, bout betters. Yeah, this is a Jamal Hill by TKO, which is plus 108, or Glover via that finish, or Glover via the submission. But he could get like a ground and pound TKO, but by submission, he's plus 265. Just Glover on the money line, either guy on the money line, I think is the way to go there. But that finale, that final fight is going to be a barn burner. It's going to be exciting. And as I mentioned before, if Glover wins this bout, he should, in Brazil, he should hang up the gloves. He should put the gloves down in the middle, walk out on a shield as a champion in front of his people. The best ending he could ever dream of having in Brazil, retiring as a champion, retiring with that belt. If he were, he's a great coach. If he were smart, he wins this bout. I think he's going to. He's been there longer. That's another big problem for all the foreigners. Jamal Hill just got there on Monday, or not even Monday, on Tuesday. Not a lot of strong flavors in the cigars. There's a little slight pepperiness to it. It has a strong wood and earth tone, more of a cedar. It definitely can age better probably in the future. There's a slight bit of pepperiness to it, a little bit of spice, which is nice. It's silky, but it doesn't have a lot that hits on the nose or that really emphasizes or is significant on the palate. There's nothing that is like, there that's like, oh, this is how, so defined. It just doesn't have a sort of a flavor characteristic that is diverse. It almost has this mono taste to it on the start and the finish, or at least on the draw. I mean, and then when you're exhaling it. Brandon Moreno, Deves and Figueiredo, man, I wish they would stop making this fight. What's great is that after this fight, we probably never see it again. Moreno's turned into the slight favorite, which I don't understand. I would have think that Figueiredo would have been the favorite as it's in Brazil. He didn't have to travel. Hopefully, again, I don't look at Instagram. I don't know if Brandon Moreno went into Brazil earlier. I hope that he did. I think both these guys have a lot going on in their lives. Figueiredo was a family man. He started a gym, was doing the tours and stuff in Brazil. And Brandon Moreno is a star. He's showing up the boxing matches, a lot of attention. He was doing that actually with the Kai Kara France fight. I doubted his resolve or how prepared he was going to be, because he's just such a star for the UFC that I was concerned that he might have just been too distracted. And I think both these fighters can be very, very distracted. Not to go the distance is plus money. So they're expecting another decision here at minus 150. Figueiredo by finish is 285. Moreno by finish is plus 310. So they think Figueiredo has slight more ability to finish. And on the decision, Figueiredo is plus 240 and Moreno is plus 200. Again, guys, this is a fight. If you feel either way, the money line's the way to go. Bet the money line. Don't prop it out, because you never know what happens in terms of what the outcomes would be. It's very hard. Moreno, I don't know when the last time he's lost by knockout was. He's a tough guy to knock out, right? And same with Figueiredo. Figueiredo's the dude is tough to be knocked out. That's why the knockout Moreno by TKO was plus 750, and Figueiredo is plus 410 by TKO. Moreno, of course, has the better submission line at plus 600, or the more likelihood of getting a submission, and Figueiredo has that plus 1200 submission line. So I really think not propping it out, grabbing this fight on the money line, either way that you feel. I have to lean a little bit with Figueiredo, because Moreno had that coaching drama that he's gone through. Is coming into Brazil. Figueiredo did have to travel as well. He doesn't live in Rio. This is in Rio, but you got to figure that he's got the home field advantage here. He's got the crowd behind him. He's at a good camp too. Actually, he moved his camp back. I don't think he's training with Henry Cejudo anymore right now. But there's no shortage. Neither of these guys have a shortage of training partners. Did Moreno go to TriStar? I don't know where he went to go, finish out this camp. I know that he wasn't with James Krause any longer, or was he? Maybe James Krause is still in the picture somehow, because there's nothing illegal or wrong about him still coaching and helping his fighters. I don't know the situation there, but Brandon Moreno, I think, is there are more obstacles for him towards his victory than Figueiredo, and I'm slightly leading on Figueiredo. I'm not going to bet against Brandon Moreno. I can't do that again. But I think if you're going to bet on something, those two fights are excellent fights to bet on. Something that I will probably prop out is the fight between Jessica Andrade and Lauren Murphy. Andrade is a monster, and she's in Brazil. She's now minus 500. I should have jumped on her when she was like minus 200 and made her my primary bet. I feel strongest about her, but then lately that's cost me with the last bout with Caitlin Vieira, for example. Even though it was a close bout, I ended up losing all my winnings and what I laid down. I didn't lay down very much, so it was okay, right? I lost like $160, so not a big hit, but since it was my main play, it ended up taking my whole bank for that event. I didn't bet very much, as I mentioned to you guys, that event, and I should have. I should have propped out a lot of those bouts or gone larger on the props that I did win, which was Zarek by finish or TKO. Hit that one, and then I hit the guy that trains with Oliveira, and that guy by finish as well. And I should have picked the sub line, but I went with the finish line because he also has good hands. But I like Jessica Andrade here by TKO at plus 200, or the finish line Andrade to finish here, which I mentioned before is plus 110. I might play one of those either. I might chase it because she is just a beast. And yes, I know that Lauren Murphy's tough, and you know she's been improving dramatically, but Andrade is on a tear. I think she might get a title shot with a win here. She might have a chance of getting back to in title contention. Johnny Walker, Paul Craig. I mean, Walker had that. Surprising submission. There he is. All right. The dog has been a little sick. Poor guy. He's got a little cancer of the eye. Something's really bad with his eye, and he's not doing so well. Really here, I've been Paul Craig by sub. Even if I lose that money, I always bet him just by the submission at plus 280. That is still enough meat for me to possibly chase. I've been placing Paul Craig to win by submission basically his last 6 fights. I think even I've lost a couple times, but I've been doing it for a while here. Let's see what his previous. Oh, I missed Gilbert, but they had it differently on the. But that's okay. We'll get to Neil and Paul Craig here. Yeah, he lost to Volkan Ozdemir, but man, he tried to get that sub, right? He got wins over Hill, Jamal Hill, Rua, Antigulov, Krylov. The guy just is just a submission machine, right? Sub Nikita Krylov. Knocked out Jamal Hill, even though I guess I considered it a TKO. Even he knocked out Shogun Rua, subbed Antigulov, subbed Vinicius Moreira, knocked out Alonzo Minifield, subbed Kennedy Nichuku, lost by sub against Jimmy Crute, which is interesting. Magomed Ankalaev, he subbed him with a triangle choke, which is saying something. Knocked out actually lost to Khalil Roundtree. He lost to Minifield, I'm sorry, by TKO. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't read it properly. But I basically always bet Paul Craig, the Paul Craig sub. I'm going with that bet again and something on the money line. Johnny Walker, I don't feel that he's a complete fighter. I don't think that he does train with not Pietro, but that other Brazilian guy that does all the fancy stuff. And I mean, there's something about him I don't take him seriously. Walker, he's over there. Is he still at SBG? Is he still there in England? He's primarily a striker. Yes, he did get a submission in his last bout, but if he attempts to roll anywhere near and he's got those long legs, and he kicks a lot. If he, attempts to like roll at all with Paul Craig, he will get subbed. Paul Craig will snatch up a knee or get some other submission, because I know he has other submissions in there, and he's got some hands. He can strike, right? He's got Walker's got better striking accuracy. He absorbs a little bit more. Paul Craig has a good takedown average. Almost two takedowns every round, where Johnny Walker has 0.43 every 15 minutes, right? So every fight, that's not really, not very good. Both of these guys don't have any takedown defense. Walker at 58% and Craig at 50%, because he wants to get down on the ground. So I'm going to be all over Paul Craig by sub here, even though they're in Brazil. One of the other favorites that I think is a weak favorite is Johnny Walker, along with Gilbert Burns via Neil Magny. Burns took a lot of damage in his last two outings, right? Actually, not against Stephen Thompson, where he definitely was able to utilize some wrestling with 3 takedowns to get 7 minutes of control time, and was effective on the feet because he was always threatening those takedowns, right? He had 3 of 6 takedowns, 50% takedown percentage against Stephen Thompson, 7 minutes of control where he's able to, land more strikes, even land a significant amount of strikes. I mean, he just dominated Thompson. Thompson had to worry about the wrestling and being down there and fighting like the possibility of being submitted. But that war with Khamzat had to take something out of you. And then also losing the championship fight against Gilbert Burns, also in a brutal fashion, had to also hurt. But I think why everyone is, why he's such a big favorite is he's in Brazil, and Neil Magny's takedown defense is improved. It's at 57% now, right? So he has he'll go for takedowns himself, but every time that he has lost, it's been by like Shavkat Ramonov sub by guillotine. He lost that to Michael Chiesa because he was taken down by Chiesa, and Chiesa dominated him, controlled him as well in that particular bout. Chiesa had 15 minutes of control time, and Chiesa's wrestling's not fantastic, but that's why Gilbert Burns is such a favorite here, is that he's going to have to wrestle. If he doesn't get this to the feet, he doesn't want to stay on the feet with Neil Magny. Neil Magny, if he keeps this on the feet, I think he's going to dominate. That's right. He got, Neil Magny was lost by TKO against Santiago Ponzinibbio. He lost to Rafael Dos Anjos by a sub, right? If Rafael Dos Anjos could sub you, although that was quite some time ago. That was 2017. He got knocked out by Lorenz Larkin. He was subbed by Damian Maia. I think he went to train with Damian Maia after that loss. He went to do jiu-jitsu with him. And I think he also trained with Rafael Dos Anjos. He went to, improve his counter grappling. But, but the other thing we haven't seen is, or that's going to happen here, is that Gilbert Burns, even though he did grapple against Wonderboy, he still has fallen in love with his hands. His takedown accuracy is only 34%, right? And he doesn't have any takedown defense, but you're not going to want to roll with him either. But he hasn't been. He made, how many takedown attempts did he make against Chimaev? I don't understand why he didn't try to, at least if he had, he was 0 for 5, where Chimaev was 2 of 3, right? And for only Chimaev had 2 minutes of control time, right? I think he should have been trying for more takedowns and mixing it up, trying to just, knock out Chimaev. He almost did, right? But going to that kind of war with Chimaev, I think he would have been, being more the pure jiu-jitsu guy, maybe had a better chance. I mean, he gave Chimaev his biggest test thus far. So that's another reason why I think he's has that big Durinho. Gilbert Burns has that number, but I'm scared every time I go with Neil Magny in these instances. I get burned, but that number there is a little wide. They are in Brazil. I might stay away from it, but I might consider Neil Magny as a dog here. I wouldn't hate you if you went with that pick at all. Shogun Rua, Ihor Pretoria, man, like I mentioned before, why would they do that to Shogun Rua? Just going up against a monster, right? Ihor Pretoria right now, he lands more strikes. He's got more accuracy. I mean, Rua's just in a tight, tough battle here as you're going away. Retirement fight. He's so much older than him. While we're talking about a 15-year age difference here between the Duelist and Shogun. Really, really tough. I'd like to do just a fun bet with Rua on the money line, but I just don't see it happening. He hasn't impressed me in his last few bouts. He lost to Ovon St. Preux, right? Did go to decision, got knocked out by Paul Craig. He did beat Rogerio Nogueira, but that was back in 2020. There was a draw, right, against Paul Craig. He did beat Tyson Pedro. He did knock him out. He lost to Anthony Smith via TKO. And so it's been a while. 2 straight losses. He's just a tough spot for him. I just don't like that fight from a betting perspective. In terms of Greg Rodriguez and Bruno Ferreira, Bruno's a big guy. He's undefeated, right? Like, lands very, very active at 10 strikes per minute. Good striking accuracy at 61%. He only has one fight, right, in the UFC, the Hulk and RoboCop. That's going to be a battle. But Greg Rodriguez is a bad man. But I can't justify even parlaying Rodriguez at that line, right? Minus 335. He's in a tough bout in that. There's no line of not to go the distance right now on Rivers, but that's not to say that, that fight I think won't go the distance. Greg Rodriguez, Bruno Ferreira, I don't think it'll go the distance. But that line's going to be super wide. But that last fight that Gregory Rodriguez had, man, that piece of chunk of meat hanging off his face, coming back and winning by TKO, it's hard to bet against him. The guy's a monster. He's just a beast. So I think he finishes Bruno Ferreira, but that's going to be another war. I think the line's a little wide. Not to go the distance is going to be a little wide as well. Thiago Moses and Miguel Costa. It's got to be Thiago Moses all the way here. More experience. He is 1 year younger. Miguel is just a newcomer taking this on short notice. I mean, it's Thiago Moses fight to lose, but Thiago Moses at minus 375. I can't do it. I can't even parlay. I'm not going to parlay these guys, these minus 300 guys, and stack them into a parlay where I'm just going to get to like plus 100 or even a minus number, and I have to stack. Like even if you stack, for example, Thiago Moses, right? Can't justify doing Jessica Andrade at minus 500. Can't do it. Can't do it. What was the other person that I? Oh yeah, Thiago Moses, Gregory Rodriguez, minus 155 for that two piece. I think you're better off parlaying, two of the dogs like Glover right now, and Paul Craig. I like that two pick dog pick right there at plus 423. That's the parlay for me of the evening, and I might put it in a Trixie with one of the, which is going to be tough with Gabriel Bonfim possibly at minus 182, but his number is going to be growing as well. Not a great card for parlays, guys. I think you're going to have to prop this card out or take one of the fights that we've mentioned that has a tighter line on the money line. Go on, Rio, go upstairs. You going upstairs? Oh, next fight. Gabriel Bonfim, Munir Lazez. Lazez is no joke, man. Lazez, I like Munir Lazez, but these Bonfim brothers, man, and in Brazil, I think it could, like, Terrence McKinney's is my boy. I mean, I've been on T-Rex for a while, and T-Rex by finish, it's the same thing. If and Ishmael comes out strong too. Like, I don't think that fight is going the distance. And I think Terrence McKinney, if he's not been in Brazil for a while, training, they're getting used to being in the heat in that area. I think Ishmael Bonfim is going to finish him, right? McKinney is strong and dangerous in that first round and a half. But if this goes into the late in the second round or even third round, and Ishmael comes out hard too, that's going to be a war. I think that should be one of the fight of nights. Both the Bonfim brothers, those are the fights to watch. The Ishmael Bonfim's, Terrence McKinney, Gabriel Bonfim versus Munir Lazez are going to be the most exciting fights, close fights, and good betting fights right there on this card. Because what are you going to do with Jalton Almeida at minus 1,115 against Shamil Abdurakhimov? I mean, Jalton Almeida is a monster. That's why that number is there. It's in Brazil. You can't, it's going to be, you think of that number, he'd finish him. But Shamil is a tough guy. He's going to be tough to finish. But I think Jalton Almeida by finish line is going to be like, minus 200. And so you'd either have to prop out a TKO or a submission. The cigar goes out easily. You have to really baby this one. I don't like that. And I wonder if that's because of the character of the Sumatran wrapper. It has I don't like that. It went out so easily, like that I have to nurse it. Let me see something here. I don't like to do this. Oh. Oh, that's not good. I don't like doing this either. All right, I could tell there was a lot of charring. Like, the draw is not great on this cigar now. Again, it has more of a monotone flavor. Not a lot of spice, not a lot of sweetness. Just a strong earth and wood character. A bet that I was going to make and I didn't get it in time because Josanne Nunez, no way. I know for sure that she's going to win that fight. But at minus 560, there's nothing there. Right? I'm not going to prop out a women's fight like that. Not that particular fight. I'd prop out Jessica Andrade because Jessica Andrade is one of those women that has true, genuine knockout power. Like, she can knock anyone out. Anybody in the women's division, she can knock out. There's not a woman in her division that's out there that she cannot knock out, including some of the women at heavier weights. If she touches you, if she went against Amanda Nunes and she put her, got that touch on Amanda Nunes, she will knock Nunes the fuck out. The woman hits like a truck. She's the best power puncher or knockout puncher in women's MMA, period, I would argue. Last time out, I bet her by the TKO, and she ended up getting a submission, right? Is that what she got last time? I believe she did, and that was I didn't expect submission at all. She got the standing rear naked choke, which is also very uncommon in women's MMA, right? Yeah, against Amanda Lemos, a submission, a perfect, they have arm triangle here, but I thought it was just a standing guillotine. Yeah, but I like Jessica Andrade. I just can't, that number, can't bet it, can't parlay it. I'll stick to propping her out. That will be a prop that I would chase, just like the Paul Craig prop. I'll chase that prop. Maybe, Terrence McKinney finish, Dalton Almeida finish. I mean, not to go the distance, Ishmael Bonfim and McKinney. That's going to be a war. I'm looking forward to that. Cody Stamann at minus 335 against Luan Luis Lacerda. I mean, Stamann, it doesn't always impress me. I'm going to stay away from that particular bout. I think it is Stamann's bout to lose, but hopefully he has gone out there, gone to, Luan's a newcomer. It's first time, but he has the home field advantage. Hopefully Stamann went out there earlier, got some time in Brazil. All these people, or else all the Americans and these foreigners like Nicholas Dalby against Warley Alvarez. Alvarez is a dangerous guy. Nicholas Dalby is dangerous too, but if you're coming all the way from Russia or Europe to Brazil, it's a long way. The Brazilians are used to it. They travel. And a lot of Europeans too, but if you're not adjusted to the climate there in Brazil, you're gonna just like going to Mexico City or Mexico, you're gonna feel it. And it's not high altitude, but it's below the equator. And it's a tropical environment. Hostile fans. Really just tough for a lot of the foreigners. I think Alves now moving to minus 127. He was a dog at one point. I think a lot of people are seeing again the being home favorite is going to have advantages. I got to side with Alvarez on that fight and Stamen. But Stamen again, I'm not going to parlay him at plus three. Minus 335. Not something I'll do. It's going to be tough for him to get that finish there. But Luan Luis is a Laceta that's a new fighter. Let's see what he brings to the table. But it's something, there's too many just areas where I don't know, haven't done the background on Lacerda to go with him. I think it's a Stamen, just pass on that particular bout. There's other areas here to possibly make some bets. But man, the lines have gotten really out of hand on some of these fights as well as parlaying them. I mean, Josanne Nunez minus 560. Man, that little lady is tough. She is, I really like her to win. I'm another one of my more locks to win her fight. But problem is, she, even though she's 9-1, right? She beat up Pascual, but there were instances where she didn't look. I thought she looked great, but she could be taken down. I don't think Farron, has that takedown. No takedowns at all. Poor takedown defense, and Josanne Nunez has a 70% takedown defense because she's so short, so small. Tough to grab a hold of her legs. Tough to lock her up. She's very fast. Josanne Nunez for sure is winning that bout, but there's nothing. I don't see a line of her by decision. Might be a possible, but I can't use it. So I'm staying away from that. Danielle Marcos, Oliveira, Simon, not really looked at these fighters at all. Not familiar with them. Therefore, I'm going to stay away from them. I didn't look at any film on these fights that I wasn't as familiar with the fighters on. So I'm going to avoid that match and just not bet it. So there isn't much meat here on the table. There isn't a lot of meat on the table on this particular event. It is definitely going to be a decent betting card. There are opportunities for people here. Moses by finish. Gabriel Bonfim by finish against Lizez. Almeida by finish, right? Maybe mentioned Glover by finish. Either Figueiredo or Moreno by finish is a possibility. Of course, they favor the decision, but there's meat there on the bone for that. So there it is, guys. There's nobody in the chat that really add anything I blazed through this card. Wasn't anticipating on going live. I just did it short notice. I was still awake, still doing stuff. Just started to drink. The Maplewood Son of Juice. Nice hint of lemon, fruity. Look at that. I love that character there. Where you could see the pulp, right? You could see the pulp, not hoppy at all. So it is an IPA, but it doesn't have that IPA finish. It has a little bit of a sweeter finish. Very smooth. Excellent IPA. Great beer. Easy drinking, refreshing, has a little bit of effervescence to it. Perfect with the cigar. Today, guys, the beer for sure is an 8. Better than the cigar. The cigar, we're going with a solid 6.5 here. It's silky, slight pepperiness, very slight, just not a lot of character. It's very monotone, simple, but not bad. The beer enhances it big time. Grabbing a draw after the beer is helps it big time. Let me know something in the chat. I'm going to give you a moment. I'm going to go grab another brew here. Come on, ready to go upstairs? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're okay, buddy. You're all right. Yeah, the dog is under the weather. He's not doing 100%. Poor guy. Again, the cancer of the eye. He's not looking so good today. This has been the roughest I've seen him with his eye. So bad. He's low energy. He ate a little bit. Just very sluggish. Seems like he's in a lot of pain, but he's resting now. He's okay. We've done our best with it and trying to treat it, but it's something that they can't really cure it all. Well, guys, it's tough to run through or discuss. We can look at the McKinney, the stats on McKinney Bonfim, but it's tough because Bonfim is new to the UFC, right? He's only got one fight, one official fight. He's got the Dana White Contender Series fight, and I think one other, or is it just one? Right? It's just tough to tell. I mean, Bonfim, he does have 3 losses, right? He has losses. Yeah, he just has a Contender Series fight where he went to a decision, right? Against Namina Basov. Bonfim, outstruck him big time, 85-45. Just really, really 1 of 3 takedowns, 33% takedown defense, 53% striking percentage. Really just dominated every single to the first round. The guy's dangerous that round 1. That first round between Bonfim and McKinney is going to be fast and furious. Those guys are going to be trying to kill each other as always, but neither guy's a slow starter. So don't go anywhere on that particular bout. Don't go and get it. Don't go use the washroom. Don't go get a beer. It's going to be round 1 fireworks. And a lot of these fights, it's going to be round 1 fireworks. Gregor Rodriguez, Bruno Fierro, round 1 fireworks. Davison Figueiredo, Moreno. I don't expect these guys to feel each other out again. I think that one could be fireworks really fast. Jessica Andrade, Lauren Murphy. Don't expect Jessica Andrade to slow down. And Lauren Murphy's more of a counter fighter, very cerebral, very smart woman. But Jessica Andrade is just a little brute. And she looked fine in she looked really good for more boyish looking fighter. She was looking, her skin is really nice. She was very pretty, actually. I was stunned. I was taken aback by that. But all these fighters, it's their dream to fight in Brazil in front of their people in the UFC. So that's why most of them have big advantages here and have bigger numbers, because the fans there are going to be so big in favor. In Rio, forget it. You're going to hear, you don't want to lose in front of your people in Brazil. It's just a whole different atmosphere, different environment. I'm glad that the UFC's back in Brazil. I think there are a few other fighters that should have fought and waited to fight on this card rather than were on last week's card, which I think was a big mistake by some of these fighters, why they couldn't put them on there on these particular bouts. But Jolton Almeida, he's not losing this fight. Gilbert Burns, he hasn't been working on his submission skills, right? He just hasn't been there with that. Let's see, is there a? Let me see if there's a line for the submission. Yeah. Yeah, Burns submission plus 235. That means that the Vegas is thinking a submission is likely, right? Not to go the distance is minus 139. Yes, to go the distance is plus 100. So they're looking for a decision, I think, here. I think a decision, the over for 1.5 is minus 220. Yeah, they're expecting a little bit of a battle here between those two fighters, but I'm just leaning slightly on Magny because I just think he's been improving, and if he could keep this on the feet, he will piece up Gilbert Burns. I think that he has the advantage of outpointing and wearing down Burns, trying and slowing down that wrestling. Right, as the fight goes on, it's going to be harder for Burns to get that because Magny's gas is pretty good. They're both older fighters, and I know that Burns is still on the up. I wouldn't say that he's should retire in front of the people in front of this fight, but who else is I think Glover should retire if he wins. Just let it be. Go out as a champion. Rua, he's win or lose, he's retiring. I don't think that Burns can win a championship anymore. And, I don't think he could beat Chimaev in a rematch. I think that might go worse for him, even though Chimaev was heavier than Burns. I think that Chimaev, they say Burns stepped up to save the event. So, but still, and he did well against him. But I still thought that Chimaev won that outright. And yeah, both these guys are old, 86 and 87. 1 year separates them. Neil Magny's 1 year younger. Both guys are not young, but the height advantage is super significant. Neil Magny at 6'3", which is going to be an 80-inch reach compared to 71-inch reach. If he could keep this on the feet, he's got a good chance of winning this particular bout. Because Gilbert Burns, again, his wrestling's not all there. 34% takedown accuracy, right? And against Magny's 50% to takedown defense. Burns hasn't had a submission in a while, right? When was his last submission victory? He's been working all on. Mike Davis was his last submission victory back in 2019. And and then before that, it was 2016 against Luzak Saljawiski, right? And Alex Oliveira he subbed, and he subbed Christopher Gallegos. But all his other victories are by KO or decision, right? He's turned into a striker, which is crazy since he was an ADCC champion. I mean, just nuts that he didn't balance out his jiu-jitsu, his sort of overall game, to get to the point where he can utilize his superior jiu-jitsu more. But he's fallen in love with his hands, and he's got good hands. He's got good speed. He's got good striking. But in this particular bout, with that the reach advantage that Magny's going to have, yes, the kick is going to be nullified a bit because he's going to want to avoid the takedowns. But if he could just keep, at distance, fight at distance, Magny will win this out easily. But Burns is going to take this to the floor. He's going to try to control him. Magny's going to have a hard time getting up against Gilbert Burns, but he's been practicing and he's been working on his jiu-jitsu as well and his wrestling, and his counter wrestling. Yeah, still sort of the same in the middle here, guys. It has a little, it's a little more refined. It's still in that 6.7, 6.5 area. It's tough. It's a $5 cigar. That was the goal, $5 cigar. I mean, for $5, I think we had La Aurora was a little bit more than that, but that was a darn good cigar for the money. There were some other Rocky Patels that were in that range, in that $7, $8 range that might be better than this. Is this a horrible smoke? No, but if you're going to smoke, you might as well get something that you're really going to enjoy, right? Like you're going to, this might be a good golf course cigar. If you're doing some activity and you just want to smoke, right? This might be a good cigar for that. It's very soft. Has a subtle oilness to the oils are not strong in this cigar. And that's what it's lacking. Strong earth tone, as I mentioned, that slight peppery finish, slight, very slight. It's okay. It's just not as good as some of the other cigars we have. And again, we're paying $5 for the cigar. So what do you expect? For $5. All right. So I got nobody in the chat. No one to throw ideas and discussions about. So I'm gonna stick around here for a couple minutes more, and we'll just call it a night, guys. Good luck on your betting this week. I wouldn't go strong on anything this week either. I think we've missed the line movement or the better lines right now. I think on some of these it might be better, like Glover. I think by fight night that's going to be a 50-50 match. Figueredo Moreno, I think, is going to go back to being 50-50, like even money. And I think you're going to see some of these other numbers skyrocket. I think you're going to see Andrade even get greater. I think you're going to see who else? I think you're going to see Gregory Rodriguez even get higher. People are going to parlay that. They're going to parlay Thiago Moses. His number is going to grow higher. The Balm theme lines might get higher as well, except with Terrence McKinney, because Terrence McKinney is a beast, right? But that those are two fights that you could bet on. Jalton Almeida, it's already a ridiculous number. I can't imagine it gets any higher, but people are stupid enough to put it in a parlay, so his number is still going to increase as well. And Worley Alvarez's number has changed, right? Like all these Brazilians, their numbers have gone up, so it's turned into a very bad parlay and very few money line spots. So you're going to have to prop out this particular bout. And some of them, the distance props are going to be, I didn't see anything that you want to attack. And anything that, like Gilbert Burns, that's like, plus 100. Yes to go the distance, not to go, not to go the distance was minus 115, right? Nothing there. I haven't seen the Jalton Almeida's, that fight not to go the distance. Alvarez Dolby not to go the distance. I haven't seen that line yet. I don't expect a lot of meat on the bone on any of these distance props as well to chase, where you couldn't just take one of the dogs or just bet one of the fights that I mentioned already outright to make it worth chasing. So yeah, that's it, guys. Burning real hot. Real hot. Got a little chocolatey character now to it, which is good. But I could tell it's burning very hot. I think that what didn't have, I don't know what the filler is, but being a $5 cigar, it probably didn't have the best quality fillers. and not even the best Sumatra. I mean, yeah, Sumatran wrapper on there. It's got a nice little flavor now. More of the oils are starting to come out. Again, soft, but not really a high caliber, premium quality cigar. It's on that lower tier of cigar, right? And that it was $5.40. The beer, on the other hand, was a bargain for $10. This IPA, lots of fruit, a lot of lemon, almost a little pineapple almost. You know, it has a nice little sweet characteristic to it, sweet hint to it. Very nice. Nice, very easy drinkable, not strong hops to it, which I'm surprised since it is an IPA. It doesn't have that hoppy character to it. Very smooth. That's why it's the Son of Juice, very juicy. It is what it says it is. It's a juicy IPA. Very nice to drink. For the value of what the beer is, it's an 8.5. 8.5 on the beer. Great, great drinkable. Perfect for the summertime. You could drink the whole 4-pack easily. I am going to drink the 4-pack. Not very strong. Drink it in summer, winter time. Goes with food well, probably. I had some roast earlier. It would probably go good with pork. Some pork belly in this beer. Woo-hoo-hoo. I mean, yeah, it would be real tasty. It'll complement pork really well. Yes, I eat swine. I eat a lot of swine. Although I had beef today. Made a pot roast. Came out pretty good. Not as tender as I would have liked it. I don't know if it was that I didn't add enough juice to it or enough stock. The veggies came out real nice, very tender. Just didn't have the flavor that I was looking for, but it wasn't horrible. It was a little bit fattier of a piece of pot roast, and I think that was a mistake. I should have picked out one of the ones that were a little leaner, because this one had a lot of fat on it, which is good. I like the fat, but I think it hurt the overall cooking and process of the meat. It didn't come out as juicy as the whole thing didn't come out as juicy as I would have liked it to. As always, guys, if you've made it this far, you are about better. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to continue smoking the cigar. Good luck. Leave a comment in the comment section. Hope everyone does well, as I mentioned before. And as always, if you've made it this far, you are about better. Thanks for your support. Thanks. Like and subscribe. Hit up the comment section. Blow up the comment section. Let me know what you guys are doing, what plays you guys might be doing, and I'll respond.